Oh, you damn right. Let's go OB Live on a Wednesday. Jeff Ketchum will be back with us tomorrow. Alex Dunlap jumping in today. I'm Chad Hastings. We're going to dig right into it. Alex, at some point, we can talk a little offense. I want to start with a positive. I want to start with the defense. I was reading through your deep dig today on orangebloods.com. So let me start with this. All you guys can jump in the chat and jump in on your opinion on these as well. But I'm going to start here, Alex. You break down the film like nobody that I know. Defensively, what is your trust level for this defense? 1 to 10. I'm a firm believer that when you trust your team, it's because you trust the defense. 1 to 10. How much do you trust this defense after 3 games?
I mean, I guess giving them a 10 would say, like, I just think that they're perfect and there's no room for improvement at all. I have an immense amount of trust in the defense, with the talent in the defense, with the production that they've been able to accumulate, and even in spots where you're using Ant Hill in a way where it's not probably optimally the way fans would like to have seen him being used, for him to be just his most productive, flashy self. And even when they're using Ant Hill in coverage, and they're, he's out on the overhang and he's in zone, and it's not the wild, hair on fire, sideline to sideline menace that you've come to expect. It's like he's out there in space in the overhang, and he gets a runner or a ball carrier over there, and all he does is just commit on-field crimes by just knocking them out, getting these footballs out. No matter where you put Anthony Hill on the football field, even if it's not in the spots where it's really advantageous for the big flash plays like we're used to seeing from him, he's still going to be making these awesome plays. I do think that, as far as from a production standpoint and from just a efficiency standpoint on a per snap basis, I think it's going to continue bumping up for Ant Hill through the course of the season. I think the same thing for Colin Simmons.
That's and you're leading right to my next question, because I want to know from you your concern level for Colin Simmons. Like, there's been talk about him, and he doesn't look like himself and all that stuff. Are you that concerned about number one right now?
No, I'm not really concerned. It's I go back to what Sark said about the ball getting out from Malachi Nelson in 1.8 seconds or whatever per drop back. It was obvious that they were trying to game plan around not letting these guys pin their ears back and get to the quarterback. But I will say that Colin Simmons, even like in the deep dig grading scale, and people who read the column, they can go and they can look and see exactly how I do it. I just watch the game. I chart my proprietary metrics, and then for each kind of active production on the defense, or each active, each negative play, like a coverage burn or a penalty or things like that, those kind of take points away. Even if you take away the negative stuff from Colin Simmons, which has mainly just been penalties, I forgot, I don't have it pulled up, whether it's 4 or 5 that he's had so far on the season. Even if you take those out, his snaps per production caused is still basically double what it would have been last year, as it is with he was at 4.44 snaps per production caused last season, which, dating back to 2015, when I started keeping good records of this stuff, and not the chicken scratch I did in 2013 and 2014 that I can't go back and really use as well. But dating back to 2015, that was the best out of 195 Texas defenders that played at least 200 snaps on defense in a season. So Colin Simmons had the most efficient season in Texas history since 2015. So the last decade, last year, 4.4 snaps per disruption caused. Right now, he's sitting like 12.3. And even if you take the penalties off, he's still like 8.69. So even without the penalties, he's not been quite as disruptive and productive on the defense. And I just think that that's something where I think that naturally regresses as Texas gets into SEC play, and quarterbacks are having to drop back and go through their reads as these games get tighter. And I don't think that every offensive game plan, once they get into the SEC, is to get the ball out in 1.8 seconds.
So you think as we get into that part of the schedule, we're going to see more of the Anthony Hill and Colin Simmons that we're used to?
Yeah, it feels like what they've been doing with Ant Hill has just been very, very, very basic and vanilla.
Okay.
And I've even talked to scouts that have said like that's not what they're not going to keep playing Anthony Hill like this. Not scouts. I talked to a scout about it, like just what he thought,
Right.
and he said that that I titled my column. Imagine what happens once Ant Hill gets unleashed, because this guy said just wait till they unleash him and the production is going to come in buckets. I feel the same way for Colin Simmons. So concern level for Colin Simmons, he's still Colin Simmons. If you look at him, he's got the same get off. Dude, go back and watch the game. Go back and watch the San Jose State game. What's that quarterback's name? Eget.
Yeah.
Yeah. For as bad as he was as a passer of the football, he was pretty good at just like slipping out of those sacks and stuff. It felt like Colin Simmons, like he didn't quite get home on a few of those. He had one missed tackle, one blown contain. Both those were on the quarterback. Like if he didn't let that guy slip away and get outside of him, those plays turn into sacks. And next thing you know, instead of just having was it one sack? Was it a half sack? I forgot if I gave him a half sack or a full sack with that one with Murad Watson. But if he converts those, all of a sudden you're looking at a 3-sack Colin Simmons averaging a sack a game coming into the 4th game of the year, and that's right about where you would have had him. And at that point, his production would have been exactly the same as what you would have expected last year, and the efficiency would maybe not be at 4.44 snaps per production, but somewhere closer up to sub 6, which is still like top 5 last decade.
Yeah,
so,
and you would think the sloppiness is easy for him to fix, like the stuff of just jumping off sides. Like I just don't think that's something we're going to see from him throughout SEC play. It just doesn't feel like him. It was weird to watch, but I don't think that sticks around.
Sorry, man. My wife keeps. What did you say?
No, it's all right. But I'm saying moving forward, you're not expecting Colin Simmons to be jumping off sides, like twice in a game and stuff like that. Like that stuff to me is easy to clean up. No,
yeah, totally. Well, he did.
Yeah, and right. And to be fair, yeah, he do that.
He got. I think he got a week running up and down these bleachers, right?
Yeah,
it's probably just got that whole offsides thing, out of his mind. He was pressing. Sark said he was pressing, just like Wingo, just like Arch, man. Maybe like Sark.
It is wild to me that and maybe it is Sark too, but that those 3 guys have been mentioned specifically, Arch and the 2 guys wearing number 1 as pressing. So hopefully we see them relax this week. If you guys want to jump in the chat, feel free. Sandman's just celebrating Hump Day with Dunlap. Apparently that means beer for Sandman. Drink when
Sandman's in the chat saying that I was a Delt. No, dude. No, man. I wasn't a Delt. You kidding me?
Drink when you see Alex. Also, Sandman has a philosophy to get out today. It is F it. I'm done being down about this first 3 games. Texas wakes up this Saturday and officially begins the 25 campaign to FAFO. 52-10 is Sandman's prediction. Alex, does it need to get into the 50s for you for Texas this week to have it be an exhale, you think, for the fans?
Well, I think if Texas gets into the 50s, they certainly win the football game.
Now that's a good limb. I like that. 50 wins the game. I do agree with that. Yes. But does it need to for you? You know what I'm saying here? Like if it's 42-10 and it looks a certain way, is that okay? Is that enough? Or deep down, are you thinking, man, I'd love to see a 50 burger? We're watching some of these big names put up 60s and 70s this year. Does it need to get that silly for you?
I think that no, I don't think so. I think that, and we'll have the Prize Pick show tomorrow and I'll have my final thoughts on it. Mm-hmm. But I'm under the impression that Wisner or Baxter don't play, right?
That'd be what I assume, yeah.
And so if that's the case, I think that even if we see Arch just shake it off, right, and just get back to playing easy pitch and catch and some of these throws that have just been so wildly and weirdly off, and he just kind of lets loose and the connection begins to form with Wingo. The connection needs to begin to – Wingo's at like a 30% target share. He's doubling up everybody else on the whole team, Chad. Like he's more than double in any other player on the whole roster.
Right. They clearly are sending the message through 3 games. He's the number 1 guy. He's the most important receiver to get involved, and the connection has not been there.
So, and some of it has just been a lot of it's been near misses. Some of it's been stuff where it's like inexplicable from Arch that I can't really explain. I don't really know. I think that Joel Klatt did a good job. I'm not sure. I guess he has a radio show. But he had there was like one of these clips that they had up on X, right, where it's just like a 2-minute long thing where he was answering some question about what's going on with Arch. And I listened to Klatt, right, as an ex-quarterback and a guy, smart football mind. And he's saying it's easy for him to tell what's going on. He said that he's going through his progressions too fast, and his mental clock is going faster than what's actually happening on the field. He's saying he says he's getting off of his first read. He said to him, it's like a 2-part thing. He's like, it's clear that he's getting off his first read faster than he should be before he sees the picture develop with that first read and that first key. And whenever you get into your second read before the picture is developed, that presents a problem in itself. But the other problem that it presents that's outside the structure of like, you need to stay on your read until that picture presents itself. The second thing is, he said, mechanically, whenever you're feeling like the game's going faster than it is, you're going to do weird stuff with your footwork, and you're going to do weird stuff with the way of your release and all the rest of it. And he said to him, it's pretty clear that that's what he's doing. So if that's how easy is that to clean up? I'm not a dude. I've never played quarterback. I've never had a family member that was a quarterback's coach. I truly don't know if that's something that's like, is that something where you clean it up after a week? Is that something that takes like a 6-week rebuild? Is that something where like over the bye week you can work on it? Or is that even right what Klatt is saying? I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't get it, but there's just part of me that says, man, if Arch Manning can just get back to, he doesn't need to take the step forward that everybody was hoping that he would take from the starts that we saw him in last year. Like everybody's hoping for that. Right. Everybody's hoping for take a big step forward, and
they just need to put some pretty good offense on the field to help this defense out.
Yeah. Just play like he did last year. I mean, he threw a couple picks last year. Like he did. I mean, but he was fine. He was letting loose. He was like, his big 50-yard runs, like, a bunch of awesome passes. Like there was a reason why through the course of the season, people were saying, get Quinn out of there and play Arch. It's like they thought he played fine in those games. If he gets back to playing like that in this football game, I think Texas, they don't need to necessarily score 50, because I think that I don't have a lot of trust in the running backs that they're going to have available to them in this game.
Yeah, that's a huge. I'm glad you brought it up at the beginning, because you can't watch this game and not think of that unless there's some miraculous thing and they both get some time or one of them gets some time. But I think we all are thinking about, you probably should rest them both. You've got the off week coming. Get them as ready for Gainesville as they could possibly be.
Yeah,
that probably makes sense.
I think of these games where I've watched Texas teams in the past and win like 63-7 and stuff like that. It's like that hasn't always been. It feels like that there's always like 120-yard 3-touchdown game or 120-yard 2-touchdown game or something for one of these running backs that helps to kind of really pile those extra points on top. I'm not sure that they're going to have that this week. So yeah. I don't think you need to get into the 50s. I just think, dude, I think people should be happy, and I would feel more comfortable with the football team if the offense just looks functional.
Yeah, I don't think you're alone there, Alex. I see that super chat that we will get to. Thank you guys for jumping in the Specs chat. We'll hear from Specs in a little bit. Right now, let me remind you about AV Consultations. This is one of those games that I think AV Consultations can really connect with. This is an ESPN Plus game, so you need to have it streaming. Make sure you have the streaming setup you need. There's so much stuff that's on streaming now. If you don't have it all set up on a big badass screen, this is the place that can do it. Or if your big badass screen just ain't big enough because you just found out that your brother or your grandmother outscreened you, go get the next one. Go get the setup you've always wanted. Get better speakers. Get them wires all hooked up just like they need to be and hidden away so it looks nice and clean. 255-8678. They've been doing it since 1988. That's how long they've been bringing the high-quality service to the greater Austin area. If you go to Pluckers, if you go to Cover 3, they set those places up. So if you want that cool TV in the mirror in your bathroom, they can do that just like they did at Pluckers. If that's something you'd like, 255-8678 or go to avconsultations.com. Tell them you heard about it on Orange Bloods Live, 7 o'clock kick for Texas and Sam this week. And we'll remind you about the watch party and an extra special event coming up. Let me grab this super chat, though, since Oscar was nice enough to throw it in for $4.99. Oh, good Lord. Arch sucks. I miss Quinn. Not all hope is lost. I believe he can become, at the very least, serviceable before Florida. All right, pick that word apart for me, Alex. If he's serviceable before Florida, is that good news? Is that all he needs to be for this team? Serviceable?
I mean, would it be an upgrade?
It would be an upgrade, yes. That I think we could agree on. I'm saying put it all together. The defense, whatever you think of punter, kicker, all the stuff. If this offense got to a level where you'd go, you said functional. He's saying serviceable. Like, is that what we're looking for here? Just get to kind of a baseline of competency, and that's going to be enough because of this defense. It's going to be enough to win you games.
I don't know if serviceable versus Sam Houston. I mean, Sam Houston.
I know.
Is that the Huntsville one?
It is the Huntsville one, yes. And they've lost all 3 games by 17 points so far.
I think you should hope for more than serviceable versus San Jose State. You would think that
in all 3 of these games, right? That's really to me. That's what it boils down to. The fans walked into DKR expecting 3 games of okay now Arch, okay Wingo, here we go offense, and they really haven't seen it.
Yeah. Now, once they get into SEC play, would serviceable be enough with this defense? I know everybody in the world, and who knows? They could be right. I don't know. Everybody in the world is saying that Sark should give up play calling and hire an offensive coordinator and all that stuff. I'm personally still of the opinion that I've seen Sark call some of the most ridiculous offense that I've seen in my life. And in 2019 in Alabama, I've seen him. I've seen him take this team at Texas to 2 straight college football playoff semifinal appearances. I don't think that guy's some kind of liability as a play caller. So to me, I think if you're serviceable within Sark's optimal scheme, I think that with this defense, yeah, that's enough. Yeah, I think that's enough in SEC play. You would hope he would be better than serviceable versus Sam Houston State, though. But unfortunately, like getting too serviceable from where he's been for large portions of this this last 2-game stretch, serviceable would be a step up. I'd like to see him look for a full game. I know it's a lot to ask, but I'd like to see him look like a full game, like he did from 10 minutes left in the first quarter of the San Jose State game to about halfway through the second quarter.
Yeah, no, that's probably fair. The bar in my head is I would love to see the Texas total be up in the 50s, and I'd love to see Arch get to sit a significant part of the fourth quarter because he's just looked that good, because it feels like it's there. But I know that may be a little wishful thinking. Now Terry, I'm glad you defined the word for us. If this is what serviceable is, I'm all for serviceable.
Oh, dude, that's fantastic.
65 to 70?
All right, so like you wanted to be like a Heisman.
Right, that's great. You know what? That's great service right there. That is high-level, badass steakhouse service, Terry, if you're going to get him at 65 to 70%.
Golly.
My goodness. Hunter threw in an idea that if the offense scores 24, they will finish 11-1. I threw out that idea, Hunter, last week into this week, of just that kind of notion. If I could guarantee you 24 every game they play, is somebody chasing them down and putting 25 on them? I don't know.
What about your Aggies, man? They're pretty explosive.
They are, but it's by the time we get to that game, Alex, there's a lot of football left. That team just went to South Bend and gave up 40. 40.
Yeah, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about Texas has 24.
Right, I understand. Texas has 24, and the thing I'll keep reminding Texas fans, these opponents that you've now all of a sudden become nervous about, they have to play your defense. Drive after drive. They have to play your defense. Did anybody watch A&M play Notre Dame? Did you see the mistakes Notre Dame made over and over again? Ball over the receiver's hands, right in the hands of a defender. Did he catch it? Nope, he didn't. Texas is, though. You want to throw it to Jelani McDonald like that? You'll pay for it.
No, I get it.
So, but that's an interesting number, though, Hunter. Just 24 to me. I just wonder, because once you get into SEC play, Alex, I'm a firm believer in, man, you win at 13-12 on a last-second safety if you have to. You just win the game. I don't care who you're playing. I don't care if you're in Lexington. I don't care if you're listening to cowbells ring. You just win it. Win it 13-10 and let everybody say whatever they want once you get there. But this next game, it has to look a certain way. It is the last guaranteed win, the way they're playing, and they've got to show this fan base and themselves something. They've got to show them the substance that makes everybody think, okay, that team can hang with anybody. We have not had that feeling yet, other than maybe sequences of the Ohio State game, because that was a close-ass game.
Yeah, and the it was a 28-point outburst when the in the San Jose State game.
You're right. That 5-minute stretch, that's a dangerous. That's all cylinders firing. And remember, the offense did start that. That was Livingston first, then the turnovers,
and then it's like game. I mean, that's proof of concept that they have it in the bag, at least versus this kind of opponent. It's like you should, technically you should be able to say like, all right, well, what were we doing there? Can we bottle it up and get it done? I know that at that point in time they did have healthy runners, and I do think that the running backs right now are a bit of an issue. Whenever you can't make a living running between the tackles with Christian Clark and Jarrett Gibson. I think that James Simon brings a little something there, but it's kind of hard to make a living with those two.
Be interesting to see what those reps look like in this game. Let's slip in another super chat from Jay. So basically, Klatt's saying Arch does meth game day. I don't think that's exactly what he was saying, Jay, but I get where you're going. It has definitely looked weird. Maybe not that weird. Here's Vivek saying 42-10 works, but Arch needs to show he can actually hit basic passes and operate a team. Vivek, that right there is my biggest shock of this team. Biggest shock on offense. Arch operationally being a problem. I just didn't see it coming, Alex. And the post that I put on Orange Bloods this week got misinterpreted, I think, the title, because it started with "You booed Arch Manning." But the part they missed was the end. In the UTEP game, the win and the why is what matters to me. You booed Arch Manning and the offense and the play calling, if you want to say all that. But, Alex, they booed them in Game 3 against UTEP. Why? Because he went 10 straight passes with incompletions, and it looked bad. And no one in that stadium who booed can honestly tell me that 0% of the boo was about number 16. Of course it was. Your quarterback was missing all over the place, and you weren't expecting it, and that's what created that reaction. So, to me, that's easily my biggest shock. Like, has there been anything you've seen offensively that shocks you more than what we've seen from Arch and how bad it's looked at times?
No. How could there be?
Right? I mean, that's the thing. It's an easy, I mean, again, it's not a limb I'm out on. It's just, I think that's everybody's shock. And I get how it created that reaction in the stadium. Like, wait a minute, where's the parade route we were thinking of? Right? Where are those 3 September games where it's just stomp, stomp, stomp? It's like showing up to the Macy's parade and there's like half a band, no twirler. You don't even know who the host is. It's 20 degrees. It's like, well, this isn't fun.
Yeah, dude. I mean, at least the people that booed stuck around for halftime. My buddy from church and his and my other friend that I've hunted with. He's a member on Orange Bloods who invited me out. His brother just happens to go to my church, and so my buddy who I know from Orange Bloods, he doesn't live in town. He'd come in town for the game. They went to go watch it, and I was planning to go visit them for a while after the game, and they texted me. They're like, "Yo, man, you can come by whenever. We're already back home." I'm like, "What, dude? It's like we live way out. We live way out here in Spicewood, Texas." And it was like the beginning of the fourth quarter. I was like, "When did you leave?" And they're like, "Dude, we left halfway through the second quarter." I'm like, "Dang, leave."
Okay.
Like, people were tilted. It's like, I mean, when Texas fans get tilted, they boo. And I hope Arch didn't take it as that, it's like he's he's getting booed. I mean, it was the offensive production that was getting booed. But like you said,
he's part of that.
He's like,
right?
he's the CEO of the on-field product.
Yeah.
And
whether we like it or not, Alex, forget about you and me and our opinion. His head coach told the national television audience that he thought Arch got booed at the half. He made his little joke about, I tell Arch all the time, you're not really a quarterback unless you get booed. Now he can just go play. That tells us that he thinks Arch just got booed.
Yeah.
He thinks it. Michael Taft thinks it. I'm sure there's guys on that team. Now, do they think it was just for Arch? That's for them to talk about. I'm sure they could say, no, man, that's the whole offense and that's play calling and all that. But I'm sorry, the quarterback looking that bad is part of it. It has to be a part of the discussion. If y'all want to throw in super chats, we will certainly get those. Let's get you updated on the watch party and a special event over at TCH Social Austin. We will be there in front of that biggest wall in the ATX, watching Texas and Sam Houston State. Again, it's an ESPN Plus game, so don't watch this thing on your phone. Come on out, watch it with us. The food's incredible. You're going to love it. There's another look at that big old screen. We'll have Texas right in the middle. We'll have Florida and Miami on one of those screens in case you want to peek in on Texas's next opponent. And, of course, pile in to the post-game show at the 2-minute warning, and we will fire it up, hopefully talking about Texas handling that business against Sam Houston State. Also, remember, if you're like Ketch, Alex, and so many other people, and you love online poker, TCH has got that for you too. Go to hijackpoker.com, put it on any device you want, scan it right there, put it on a phone, put it on a tablet, wherever you want, and get to playing. All you got to do is just be in the state of Texas. That's it. That will get you covered. Also, how about this for something special? This Friday at TCH Social Austin, we will be celebrating. Ketch loves the effects. Yeah, it is. Celebrating 100,000 plus subscribers on the YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for helping us get there. If you want to come out and celebrate with us, we'll do the show live from TCH Social on Friday, as well as our normal stuff on Saturday. So always like being out there. Anytime I get to go be near the Bad Beef Bacon.
Let me plug too on Friday. If you guys do that on Friday night, Cody and I are going to be at Texas Beef Traders to do Football with Friends live. So we'll have free beers and Darren will make up some food. Texas Beef Traders right there in Lakeway. It'll be a live show. So you guys, if you just want to watch at 6 p.m., we'll probably get there around 5:30, start drinking beers, hanging out. Would love to see some people out there. Texas Beef Traders right there off Loman Crossing in 620s in Lakeway. So I'll be going from TCH Social right over to Texas Beef Traders. So
a lot of good food for you on a Friday.
Yeah, man, a lot of good food. Probably some. Well, probably need to pace myself on the beers and stuff. If I start drinking at TCH Social, I probably might not be any good to do a show by 6 p.m. there.
That's true. They usually have some pretty good beer specials. Be careful. Be very careful when those beer specials come out. It will get you. We're looking forward to that. And again, we hope that Texas looks like they need to look against Sam Houston State. Because for me, Alex, this. Again, whatever happened in this last game, and back to the issue of sort of this, the reaction from the fans, I could have totally understood if you told me the fans were going to boo in one of the last 3 home games, something's not going quite right against Vandy, Arkansas, or A&M. I could totally understand that. But if you say to me, hey, Chad, they're going to boo in the UTEP game because Arch misses 10 passes in a row, I think they're nuts. I just think they're crazy. So, and for the people that maybe read it wrong, I defended the Longhorns fans booing that did. Is that something I personally do? No, but I gripe at my team all the time. Alex, I'm the one, if you're booing, you're my choir, and I'm the preacher underneath explaining why they're booing. I'm the one saying this call, that call. I don't get mean with it and say people need to be thrown out of a game or swapped out or anything, but I will, give them some encouragement of like, hey, we can't do that. Got to do this. What's that play call? That's me. So I'm not getting on the thing itself. Again, it's the when and the why. It's the UTEP game because Arch looked like that. I didn't see it coming. And I am fascinated now to watch how he digs out. He is 21 years old. For whatever he is supposed to be, he is a 21-year-old kid that they felt the need to put Michael Taft right next to him to protect him because he's freaked out. Whatever that means. How much is he freaked out? I have no idea. But they did that. The SID did that to him. It's whatever the
do you think that was Bianco's decision, or do you think that was Sark that told Bianco to do it? This seems like a weird thing for Bianco to step in and do, because it really does optically. It feels more like an optics thing that Sark might have something to do with, because to be totally honest, Chad, it wasn't a well disguised type of move.
Right.
It was a move where you say, like, okay, well, he's, like you said, you didn't just say, I think he was doing that because Arch is freaked out. It's like, well, that's obvious why he's doing it.
There's no other reason.
They're trying to give Arch some cover here. They're trying to get Taft in here, who's a little bit more media savvy, kind of break up some of the tension. That was clear. It's clear. He kind of has this guy there with him. Those dudes are really good friends. So I don't know if that's a decision that maybe he does have that kind of sway. I would think he would need to ask Sark if he wanted to do something like that, though. That seems more like Sark really does have his finger on every aspect of the team.
I didn't like it. And to this question, this is a really good question Colby's asking. Why would they even put Arch in front of the media if he's not in good mental headspace? Colby, you've asked the right question here. Because back in the day, I used to remind Texas fans that would say, Mac Brown's got to answer this question. Somebody needs to ask him this question, and he's got to answer it, whether it was about Greg Davis or the offense or whatever. Right. And I would always remind them, he doesn't have to answer anything. He doesn't have to answer any question. He can filibuster his way through anything he wants. Do not fool yourself. And in this case, Arch Manning doesn't have to go talk to the media. Just say, we're not doing it. Say we're not doing it. Send Taft. And when they ask,
send out Taft and Ethan Burke and Parker Livingston and whatever. Right. I mean, people are gonna say, well, why not send out Arch, right? But it's like, who cares? I think so. I mean, here's the thing: like a weekly press conference with Sark, that's already in the books. Everybody has that planned. So I think that's even part of their media rights deals and stuff like that. You would know better than me about the various networks that own rights to certain broadcasts and stuff. I think that they're, Learfield, all that stuff. Like, I think that they have to do that. I think you have to have the access. Now, it's not like the NFL media policy where,
right. I mean, as far as I know, Alex, he could send Michael Taft out there, and if they say to the SID, where's Arch? He says the answer is simple. The head coach isn't sending him this week because he didn't play well enough. Yeah, no,
right. But I think that in some way Sark is like contractually obligated to talk. Like he has to go out there and answer questions. But for the players, no, they can send whoever they want. They don't even have to give you players. This is college football. There's not a media policy. As much as I wish the SEC would institute an NFL style media policy.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Which would be just incredible. Just to be able to tell Bianco that he's not abiding by the policy would be just an incredible arrow to have in the old quiver for sure.
Yeah, Vivek's asking this really weak. They needed to put Taft to protect him. Do players get paired like that? No, Vivek. We double check
breakout availability. Sometimes they do. Sometimes in post game they will, but that's just because they want to consolidate everything to where you can ask whoever, but they got to get in and out of there in 15 minutes for the breakout availabilities.
They'll do 3 in post game sometimes. Yeah, like they've done that. They'll do 2 and 3, especially a game like Texas OU that's really unique. You'll see a coach and 2 players. Or maybe it's a coach and 3 players. They do that all the time, but not this in week. They don't do it. That's what was weird about it, Vivek. I was hoping maybe Anwar would tell us, they've done it a little bit. They've done a little bit.
I've never, I used to go cover before I moved so far away. I used to go cover every press, or I guess it was probably ever since I had kids. I haven't gone and done it much, but I used to cover every press conference. I've never seen it in my life.
Yeah. And Sandman, I agree. That's the thing. You don't want to make your quarterback look like that unless you have to. Why would you do that on purpose? It kind of goes back. It's like, like last year when they screwed up hey, let's have a press conference with this guy and with Quinn, and let's do one with Arch in New Orleans, the only opportunity the media has to talk to him. And then everybody swarms Arch and Quinn is left alone. And that's a horrible optic. They set that up for their quarterbacks. That's 2 seasons ago, I guess now. But that one, that's what it reminded me of. Like, why are you creating that look? You chose to do that. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. All right, Alex, I know you got to run here in a second. Anything else you wanted to get off your chest before, people hear from you on Football with Friends, or they scan the QR code up there, go check out orangebloods.com and check out the deep dig. What else is on your mind? Anything?
Deep dig later. So another plug for our live events on Friday and Saturday, TCH Social for like around lunchtime for the 100,000 subscriber party. And then Texas Beef Traders, 6 p.m. with me and Cody. Cody's coming all the way from South Carolina. We're going to have free beers. Darren will make up some free meats. It'll be a great time. 6 p.m. Friday, Texas Beef Traders. And then, of course, with you guys. What time is the kickoff? And also, here's one thing I like.
7 o'clock.
Since I'm here, I need to ask you, do I need to do anything special to watch this football game?
It's ESPN Plus. Do you have ESPN Plus?
I think. Don't you get that through, I just think I have that. I think to operate in my job, I think I have to kind of have that.
Okay. If you haven't, you need an ESPN Plus account. So just double check that part. Not just watch ESPN. You have to have an ESPN Plus account.
How much does that cost?
Oh God, now they have
$5 a month or something.
They have the Disney and Hulu bundle or whatever. I'm not. The monthly is probably, I don't know, somewhere. Hopefully, it's like somewhere south of $20 right now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, see, I don't know if I have that thing that they were telling us that we would need at the SEC media days, but I just feel like through all my stuff that I have all these different things. I think I have everything, but I'll need to make sure. I would just tell everybody to, make sure you're set before kickoff, because you want to turn it on and you figure out that it turns out all I had was watch ESPN. I didn't have the ESPN Plus with the Hulu bundle. Like you're going to be
right. ESPN Plus, you got to pay for it unless you're getting it. Like if you are in some deal where you got the Disney bundle and that gets you Hulu and that gets you ESPN, then you may have ESPN Plus, but you got to check it. Like you got to double check that. This is the closest thing we have, Alex, to when a long time ago, the kids don't remember these days. This is as close as we get to those pay-per-view days. Remember the pay-per-view football games where you'd play an opponent like Sam, and sometimes it literally was on a pay-per-view and you had to split it with buddies.
Yeah, dude.
Remember those days?
Yeah. It's like the UFC version of college football, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Hopefully it's not that bad. So if you need to find that friend or family member that's got the ESPN Plus account and be really nice to them, at least for this week with Texas and Sam Houston State. Alex, take care, man. We'll see you out at TCH on Friday.
We'll see you then, man. Peace.
All right. That is Alex Dunlap. Check out all the good stuff, obviously, with Football with Friends. And as you mentioned, they'll be at Texas Beef Traders on Friday. A lot of great food there, obviously. Great food at TCH Social Austin. I got another place with great food. How about Hayes City Store? And how about some dessert? There you go. Bourbon, chocolate, pecan pie. Those are fantastic words to put together. Everything is done to the highest level at Hayes City Store. Make sure you leave room for these desserts, even if you take it to go. But man, that whipped cream, it's the whipped cream that drives me crazy looking at this picture, because I know how fresh it is. I've had their desserts and the level that they go to make sure that something as simple as whipped cream is perfect, is homemade, is scratch made. They do a great job of it. FM 150 in Driftwood. Tell them we sent you out there from Orange Bloods Live. Tell them you heard about it here. Travis and Tamara and the crew are big Longhorn fans. So thanks to our great partners around here. All right, while I have a couple minutes, let's have you jump in. If you want to get in on the Specs chat, this is interesting from Tracy. Arch needs to face some adversity with the media. Tracy, I completely agree. And the other weird part of this week is the media group we're talking about. Does Sark really not know who these people are? John Bianco certainly does. He's worked with all of them. Like, go down the list. Really. Who's going to be rude to Arch Manning? Who's not going to be a pro? This group, if they have a rep, is that they'll sometimes be a little too nice. Maybe they don't really go after a coach and berate him like an NFL media crew would. But is it so bad you need to put Michael Taft up there with him? That's what I didn't get. Go down the list. Anwar, Kirk Bowles, 24/7 folks, whoever's there, right, on Texas football, everybody that was there, statesmen, all these different entities, young folks, old folks, Terry's in there. You know Terry's going to ask a crazy, wild, awesome question about like music or movies or something like that. Roger Wallace is in there. He's the one doing analysis. He's the guy that does color for the games. You ever heard those questions? They're completely safe because he's on the broadcast team and he keeps it safe. They protect Sark at every turn in general. They're going to protect Arch. They're going to protect him. No way he's going to be sat down. Geez, Arch, you really suck. That's not going to happen. But I agree, Tracy. He needed to face the music. He needs to face the adversity. You can't have it looking the other way. If you're not old enough to remember Mac Brown and Chris Sims sitting next to each other for that Big 12 championship game, now that was post-game, and it's not crazy they were sitting next to each other because that's how they do it, as we mentioned, after post-game or after games. It's the fact that somebody asked Chris, I think it was 2 separate questions, and Matt jumped in and answered it for him and literally used those words. I'm going to answer it for him. Why? Let him deal with it. Let him deal with it. This is part of the job. That's it. It's part of the job. I don't understand why you would need to protect him like that. All right. I'll get you a little bit more before we get out of here. Let's hear from Specs. Lisa's ready to roll. She's good at beer pong. Maybe she needs to coach Arch this week. Here we go.
Texans know for selection and lower prices, it all starts at Spec.
Shop Specs!
With all your favorites on tap, you'll bring home the win. Boots on, drinks up. The fun starts here.
Shop Specs!
All right. I would invite everybody if you want to. Each week I put a post on orangebloods.com. Go check out orangebloods.com. Join up there. There's your QR code in the upper left. Obviously, you want to go for all the major main content. 10 Thoughts from Catch, Sunday Pulpit from Anwar. We talked with Alex today about his deep dig. Great. If you love just good nerdy football stuff, Alex will give you stuff to look at. The offensive version is coming out in the next couple of days. Jason with the 3-2-1, Cody with the behind the enemy lines. It's all great. Well, each week I put out a post that I call the 2%er. And I look at just some aspect during the season here of Texas football. And my title did get kind of freaked out on this week. And the title was pretty simple. You booed Arch Manning in the UTEP game. A lot of Texas fans focused on the front end of it and not the back end. I was trying to make the point about the timing of it. Again, not that Texas fans would boo their quarterback or their offense, and that's somehow a crime. And if you go read carefully, I defended the Longhorn fans' right to do that. Of course they can boo. Every fan base boos. Here's where I got misunderstood real quick, just so everybody knows. Because sometimes I assume that if you're a Longhorn fan, you know some stuff about your 2 big rivals and some of the weird stuff they do, Oklahoma and A&M. But there's one little aspect of A&M that I got called out on, and I just want to explain it real quick. I said in a comment on the post, I said, even the Aggies boo. Even the Aggies boo their fans. And somebody thought, I guess, maybe that I was being uppity, where even the Aggies might boo their fans. That's not what I was doing. Well, here's what I was doing. The Aggies, now there are certain fan bases I'm sure that'll tell you we're respectful, we don't boo the opponent, whatever. Nebraska fans used to have a rep like that. But what A&M fans do is they go to this extra level that I think is weird. I've never heard any other fan base do it. I learned this when I was a little kid. It's we don't boo, we hiss. Because somehow the booing is rude, so you will hear, that's that sound you hear where it sounds like Kyle Field has a leak. That's what Aggies are doing. They are taught to hiss the other team. Now, in actuality, A&M has booed their team. That was the point I was trying to make. Even a place like A&M that has a lot of weird rules and dogma and stuff, they boo their team. I've witnessed it. I've sat in that stadium and heard them boo their own team. So that was all I was trying to point out, the hypocrisy of it. But again, and see, this is, okay, Sandman, let me put this up. They act like they're too good for that sanctimonious bullcrap, in my opinion. I agree, Sandman. I totally agree. I think it's silly. It's silly. Just like I think it's silly when an Aggie says, we didn't lose, we just ran out of time. That's just dumb. It's just dumb. So whatever the sound is, the boos, the hisses, again, I don't make those noises, but I will complain at my team. So I'm not trying to get on Texas fans at all this week. I got accused of lecturing Texas fans farthest thing from the truth. What I'm trying to point out, though, is the timing of this thing. It's the UTEP game. It's third in. There was a great post in the column, if you're in the post, if you go down to the comments, where this guy lays it all out. And it was like one of the last things he said was, I just can't believe it happened in the third game. And I'm like, that's it. And for that reason, because Arch was so bad. Like that just, it's mind-blowing that would be the reason. This is S&D Tacos. I booed the quarterback. The offense couldn't function because of the quarterback. Yeah, Tacos. Yes. Again, you cannot argue to me. You cannot. Hang on, that's funny. Brad, hissing and whooping. Oh my. Yep. Oh yeah. But yeah, you cannot argue that no part of the booing was about Arch. That's not what I was discussing. So stop breaking that part down. That's not the important part to me. It's the fact that it happened here. It wasn't Diego Pavia's doing something that caused it. You weren't stopping Vanderbilt's offense. Maybe Talon Green gets going in the Arkansas game. Oh my God, Texas fans booed a little. I could see that. Maybe the A&M offense with those receivers gets going a little bit early and Texas fans are a little nervous and it's 10-0 Aggies and it's 2 or 3 3-and-outs. I could understand that part. But in the UTEP game, because he misses 10 in a row, no, that is not what I thought. So please understand, I would never mean to lecture. Jump into orangebloods.com, get in that discussion. I think it is a healthy discussion about fan bases and booing and stuff like that, because there is a discussion about booing, and nowadays is booing more acceptable because these guys are getting paid. There's that discussion out there. So if you want to get in there, go check it out. We will continue to have those discussions. And I usually throw up the 2%er post. Usually Tuesdays is when I've been trying to do that. Also a comment or two on the Aggies and Cowboys each week. It's kind of how I'm doing it during the season. Sandman says, what other sound effects does the Aggie species make? That's a good point, Sandman. You want me to walk through it with you? Here we go. You mentioned whoop and the hiss. The hiss is what you do instead of booing. The whooping has layers to it, okay? If you're a freshman at A&M, and I think this is right, they are all called, I think they're called Wildcats. Each class has its own Wildcat, all right? Freshmen, I think they hold their hands like this, and over again, they say A. And they do it until, how does this work? There's so many rules. I think that's right. They go A, and then they have to, no, sorry. That I'm mixing up. Yeah. They go A, and just keep going. The sophomores go A, and stop. All right. And then I think it's the freshmen have to keep going A until the sophomores stop going A. I think that's it. Something weird. Then when you're a junior, you're allowed to actually whoop, but you can't link your fingers. You have to keep your fingers like that. You can't lock your fingers, but then you can go A. I think you're allowed an A whoop or just whoop. Are you allowed to whoop? What is it? It's an A whoop, I think. And then when you're a senior, you can lock the fingers and you get the full A whoop. Yeah, that's the quick version. So there are a lot of sounds. There's sound effects. There's weird rules. It's crazy. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And hey, Tracy, there's no need to spare feelings. That's not a little strange. That's all the way strange. That is all the way strange. I try. If I lecture any group, I always try to lecture the Aggies on, please don't act like you're not weird on purpose, because you are. And that's what you say you like about it. So lean into it. And generally they do. Yes, Sandman. Yeah, you are kind of sorry you asked. I get it. All right. Before I get out of here, let me hit you again with a little deep Eddy Vodka, and my new favorite thing out there exists on the right-hand side. Oh my God, the key lime pie martini. It is so good. If you love your key lime pie and you've never had a key lime pie martini, trust me, it's excellent. There's also a shot of the new pineapple there in the background. The cold brew martini is great as well. Remember, bring the martini glasses back for a discounted refill. That is also true of the mason jars Wednesday through Sunday. I'm talking to you on a Wednesday. That means they're open 12 to 7 right now as we speak. All right. Another reminder about thank you, Sam, man. I appreciate it. And I totally agree with you. Somebody tell Jeff Ketchum that I'm the best. Tell him trophy time. Let's do it. Yeah. You know what, Dave? Almost. It's close. The only thing, I'll always say it. It's not full blast cult for one key reason. They don't let you leave cults. They don't. But if you're not the kind of Aggie they want, A&M fans will show you the door like that. It's quick. The reason I call my post the 2%er is that's what they call Aggies they don't like. And the first thing out of their mouth is, hey, Highway 6 runs both ways. Get out of here. That's not a cult to me. A cult won't let you out. The Aggies will let you out anytime you want. They've been asking for this ring for years. Trust me. Thank you for that, though. Yeah, I don't quite go to the cult, but I know what you're saying. It is cultish. I'll let you go cultish. It's got cult-like tendencies, but it's not full blast, I think, because of that part. All right, TCH Social Austin. We're going to be there twice again. Come see us on Friday to celebrate the 100,000 subscribers. We're very excited about that. It's very, very cool. Thank you guys for that. Also, post-game show, 2-minute warning on Saturday. Game kicks at 7. We're going to be watching on this big badass screen. So come see us for that. Come see us on Friday to celebrate the 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for helping us get to that point and beyond now. And then come see us on Saturday night for the watch party, because who the hell wants to watch Texas play Sam Houston State alone? Jeff Ketchum will be back tomorrow for a Thursday show, and then we'll hit the Friday show. Also tomorrow, Brian Jones will jump in as I drop my pen. Brian Jones of CBS Sports jumping in. They have a game that sounds important this week. Michigan at Nebraska. All right, it sounds important in the 90s. I don't know how important it is now. We'll get Brian's thoughts on that one. Plus, there are 3 ranked matchups this week. We might hit some of those with Brian and get his thoughts. Y'all take care. Football with Friends comes up later. Anwar's got Old Fashioned for you in the morning. This is Wednesday, so we debuted a recruiting insider today at 10. Jason getting you the full recap on Derek Cooper. There's an update there. He talked to Derek Cooper, Diabell and that injury, 27 quarterback class. What about Peyton Houston and his decision? And what does that mean for Texas? All that's in there. Check the video section. If you don't find what you're looking for, check the shorts section. If you don't find what you're looking for, shout out to Tyler, Jalen, and the whole graphics department. They're doing a hell of a job getting everything put together. Thank you guys for supporting us on the YouTube channel, and we'll talk to you tomorrow at noon. Take care of yourselves. This is